You know a company has become a giant when its name becomes a verb, right? You don't just send money anymore, you PayPal it. We're talking about a true titan of the tech world. But what happens when a titan like that stumbles? What happens when fear grips the market and everyone runs for the exit at once? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today, the curious case of PayPal. So the whole story kicks off in late 2025. PayPal drops an earnings report and the market absolutely hates it. The stock doesn't just dip, it completely craters. 16%. Let that sink in. Billions of dollars in value, just poof, gone, in a single day. For a company this big, that's a financial earthquake. And for us, well, that's where the mystery begins. So after a crash like that, any value investor has to ask one simple question. Is this a value trap? A company that looks cheap but is actually on its way to zero? Or is this what they call a fat pitch, a fantastic business that's on sale for a temporary fixable reason? That's the puzzle we're here to solve. Okay, let's put on our detective hats and survey the scene. See, when everybody's panicking, that's when things get interesting. Chaos creates opportunity, and it's our job to look for the clues that everyone else is too afraid to see. So what was the official story? The headlines basically screamed two things at everyone. First, a surprise CEO change, which always makes people nervous, and second, a really gloomy forecast for the next year. On the surface, yeah, that sounds pretty bad. It's a perfect recipe for a market freakout. But is that all there is to it? Let's dig in. Our first clue is all about a simple question. Is the money even real? There's this great saying that net income is just an opinion, but cash flow is a fact. We need to separate the story that the accountants are telling, the poetry, from the hard, cold cash that's actually hitting the bank account. The poet versus the teller. And check this out. On the left, you've got the poet, the official accounting profit, a very nice $5.14 billion. Can't complain about that. But then you go over to the right. You ask the teller, the one counting the actual cash in the vault, and what do you find? Over $5.5 billion in actual free cash flow. It's even better. This chart says it all. The teller is confirming every single dollar the poet claimed, and then some. This right here is the kind of thing that gets a value investor's attention. It tells you this isn't some accounting fantasy. The business is a legitimate cash printing machine. That's a huge green flag. So wait a second. If the company is just gushing cash, why on earth did everyone stampede for the exits? It doesn't quite add up. There has to be a reason, a motive for the panic. And that brings us to clue number 2. A potential crack in the company's defenses. To understand this, we need to talk about the business moat. It's a great image, right? Just like a real moat protects a castle, a business moat protects a company's profits from invaders. Competitors. A wide, deep moat is exactly what you want to see. It means the business is safe. Now, at first glance, PayPal's moat looks like the Grand Canyon. 439 million active accounts. That is an absolutely staggering defense. The sheer size of that network makes it incredibly difficult for anyone to compete. But here's the smoking gun. This is the number that had everyone spooked. That classic blue PayPal button, what they call branded checkout, its growth slowed to just 1%. 1. That's the number that sent a chill down Wall Street's spine. So what does that really mean? It means the main thing that made PayPal special is becoming, less special. It's being commoditized. Think about it. With things like Apple Pay built right into our phones, paying for stuff online is becoming seamless everywhere. People aren't necessarily looking for that blue button anymore. The moat is still there for sure, but there's a crack in the wall, and competitors are starting to pour through. Okay, so let's take stock. We have a company that's gushing cash, but its main business is facing a serious threat. So, what do the people who know the most, the insiders, think about all this? Well, that leads us to our third clue, and it's a big one. It's an inside job. $6 billion with a B. That is how much money management said they plan to spend buying back their own stock. This isn't just a small vote of confidence. This is them taking a massive pile of money and betting it on themselves. So what's a buyback, really? Think of the company as a pizza. A buyback is when the company uses its cash to buy a few slices back from the market and just gets rid of them. The total pizza isn't any bigger, but now your slice is. Management is basically saying, hey, our company is on sale, so we're going to use all that cash we're making to buy it on the cheap and reward the shareholders who stick with us. All right, this is it, the moment of truth. We've looked at the cash, the competitive threat, and the massive insider bet. It is time to put it all together and try to figure out what PayPal is really worth, totally separate from what the panicked market says it's worth. And we're going to keep this super simple and conservative. Let's assume the worst case scenario, that PayPal never grows another penny, ever. So, step 1, we start with that real cash number, that $5.56 billion. Step 2, we decide what return we want on our money. How about 10%? Seems fair. Step 3, a bit of quick math tells us that a no-growth business making that much cash is worth about $55.6 billion. And for the final step, we just divide that by all the shares out there, and what do we get? A value of about $59 a share. So here's our final scorecard. Our super pessimistic no-growth math says the business is worth $59 a share. But after the crash, the market was selling shares for around $41. That gap between our value and the price, that's what investors call a margin of safety. And in this case, it's about a 30% discount. It's kind of like buying a $59 item for $41. So there you have it. The case is laid out. We've followed the clues. We've run the numbers. Now it's time to review the evidence and reach a verdict. So let's summarize the case file. On the plus side, the bullish side, the cash is definitely real and there's tons of it. Management is buying back stock like there's no tomorrow, and yeah, it looks pretty darn cheap. But there is a huge mark on the negative or bearish side. That core business, the PayPal button, has a real competition problem. That moat is definitely eroding. And this leaves us with the ultimate investor's dilemma, doesn't it? The numbers on their own seem to be shouting that this is a fat pitch. The math says it's cheap even if it never grows again. But you're betting against the market's fear. You're betting on a company with very real threats and a brand new leader. The math is on your side, for sure. But the question you have to ask yourself is, in the face of all that uncertainty, is the math really enough?